Well, we're in the playoffs. The Anniversary Cup continues. Now we're looking at the losers bracket. So for all the teams involved here, this is the last chance to make it through the event. I have to apologize right at the beginning of the game though. And guys, you gotta be strong here. This is not gonna be easy, but I know you can do it. We are starting today on Volskaya Foundry. I know it's tough. It's gonna be rough. But we are on the worst map in the map pool. And the second that I actually saw Volskaya Foundry as a map, I immediately knew who picked the map. It was of course the Stack of Doom. I instantly blamed Ultralisk, like everybody should, because he's he's basically the only player that likes this map. X-Ray was trying to protect him and told me, like, this time it's actually not Ultralisk's fault. Ultralisk told me we don't have to pick the map, but I decided that we're gonna go for it. And I don't believe him. I don't believe him. Either X-Ray is getting mind controlled by Ultralisk, Ultralisk bribed him with some beers, or there is some other voodoo going on here. We all know that to be the case. But, yeah. So, Stack of Doom with Volskaya Foundry. It is what it is. We have a best of 5 on our hands. And I talked about this a bit earlier, but I'm looking at this and I honestly don't really know what to expect here. I think I would probably say that the Enjoyers are the favorites at this point, because I'm looking over to the blue team and there are a lot of names, a lot of name recognition, a lot of top-end players, but they haven't really performed. And I'm not sure if that's my fault because I had expectations that were simply too high, or if they really underperformed on an objective level. But I saw this team at the beginning of the tournament, I was like, okay, these guys are going to go far, they're going to crush it, and it was just not the case. So I'm looking at this and it's pretty difficult for me to judge who's going to come out ahead here, but I would say that generally speaking the Enjoyers were in a bit of a better spot in a lot of the games that they played and didn't disappoint me that much. But the blue team, they really fell short of my expectations. Now, they are still here in the playoffs, which is great, but they needed to go through the last chance qualifier and barely made it there. We'll see. Maybe they can just recover and make that lower bracket run and go to the grand final. There's a lot of prize money on the line, so you want to go as far as you possibly can. But I guess time will tell. Now, blue team starts things off with Außenseiter on Genji. He was obviously at some point pretty much a Genji one-trick pony. Better hero pool now for sure, but this is still one of his key heroes, and they lock him in immediately with a Blaze on the side. We get Arian on Zeratul though, and Zeratul has made a bit of a comeback in the tournament, I feel. We have not seen him all that much before, but now he's slowly making his way back into quite a few drafts. It's mainly a couple, like 2 or 3 teams that play him a lot, but he has a huge impact, and we've seen that also in the winner bracket, so we're gonna find out how this is going to work for the Enjoyers, who have also Mopsio again on Muradin. With Anduin now banned out, you at least shut down that light bomb engage that can exist with Genji on the team. We get Darkmok on Anubarak. Still weird for me personally just to see him in the main tank position, but with Anubarak he has at least a tank that is more of an engage tank. Alright, so that draft dropped pretty quickly. Yeah, that was a bit abruptly, my bad. Well, actually not my bad, it's Cure's fault. Apparently we had a bit of a lobby crash going on that was triggered by Cure disconnecting. And the players then decided that they would finish the few remaining picks out in chat. So no remake of the draft. The picks on the red team side were Dehaka and Greymane. And on the left side we had Jaina as the final damage dealer. So the Stack of Doom on the left here on Volskaya Foundry with X-Ray and Blaze. We get Linked on Rhaegar, Darkmok on Anubarak, Außenseiter as mentioned on Genji, and Ultralisk now with Jaina. As over on the right side of the map, we have the Enjoyers with Mopsio on Muradin, Makotzel on Deckard Kane, Itrax on Greymane, Richu on Dehaka, and Arian with a Cleave build on Zeratul. So, let's see which team takes the lead. We are in the losers bracket, and so far both of the teams have fallen short a bit of expectations. Also caused by a few teams that made a big splash in the tournament, as everybody that watched the winner bracket matches and also the group stage obviously knows by now. Huge amount of upsets, honestly. We had so many upsets in this tournament, and it is fantastic. I totally love it. It's so great to see a few teams that are newly formed make big splashes here and really just shake up the status quo. Down at the bottom of the map, seems like X-Ray is going to be in trouble. Blaze gets licked, and that is first blood. Not even a minute into the game, and Blaze is already down. So, Jaina in game number 1, also quite interesting. Rushing around with the Fingers of Frost on level 1. Down at the bottom of the map though, Greymane instantly at Worgen form, and that is nice and good, clean damage on that wall right from the get-go here. So, pretty awesome stuff for the red team. Again, I personally think that the Enjoyers definitely have a shot of moving through the losers bracket here. We'll see how well the blue team syncs now, but they have struggled in their group stage matches for sure. Now, one of the things obviously to consider here as well is that this is the lower bracket already. Whoever loses is out, so this is your last chance. And both of them fought hard to at least get to this point, but still a bit of a tricky spot. Zeratul, alright, that does not look good for Arian. He was really hoping to get the cooldown back, but nope, he's gone too, which means that each team now has a kill. Muradin had to be a bit careful as well. Genji is already going for him, and that might even be a kill. Deckard K needs to get some healing in, and gets it just in time to save Mopsio, who gets the cooldown and jumps back out. So far, so good. We have with the Haka at the top lane, still a global that can obviously reign supreme here. One of the questions that will have to be answered as the game continues is also how much the teams are focusing on the objective, if we're going to get any focus on it at all, or if the teams are just going to ignore it, as we oftentimes see. I think Volskaya is one of the maps that would be an easy fix for Blizzard to just try and make the objective at least a little bit useful. They've done it before, where they just changed any kind of like vehicle completely. Garden of Terror is a great example for this, and a similar treatment on Volskaya Foundry would definitely help the map. We talked a bit in the past about other maps that could also be fixed. Haunted Mines, for example, is another one that I think a lot of people want to play and have fond memories of. That could for sure be balanced enough that you have it as a regular map in tournaments as well. I mean, generally speaking, we have obviously a lot of tournament maps in the game in general, but yeah. So right now, Zeratul going up against Darkmok here, just trying to create a little bit of space for the team. And they are actually going for the objective. The level 7 talents are now kicking in, and that brings us into a position where Ultralisk is now running Ice Flows for Jaina. We're having also the augmented guard for Genji, and with level 7 coming into play for their opponents, for the Enjoyers, we get, as usual, the Feeding Frenzy, Wizened Duelist obviously, and a Skullcracker for Muradin, so that Mopsio can annoy people a lot more. And Zeratul with a Cleave build, we will have to find out later if he goes for Void Prison. We've actually seen a couple of VP plays just attempting to section heroes off. There's obviously a few tools with which you can do that. We have a Nubarak with the Cocoon, Maiev with the Disc, then you have a VP where you can try and just isolate targets on the other team's side to get quick and clean kills, and then move on from there. Currently, each team with 1 kill in the game, and the Enjoyers now back on the objective. Long distance lick against Genji. The Haka decided that it doesn't taste all that good. And I was like, bah, let it go, and the Genji retreats. But they're trying to make a move now for Greymane, who is still able to move out, and Atrax, at least for the time being, is safe. Protector number 1 is on the other hand now taken. So it's Protector time, and Rhaegar plus Jaina are going to be the ones making the moves here. Stormbolt connects, and that's the end of Außenseiter. Nicely done by Muradin in particular. Landing that Stormbolt was what facilitated the kill at the end. So well done, and that was the second kill for the Enjoyer, so they missed out on the objective, but at least they get that. That's a lot of value, by the way, from the Protector here. So they are essentially getting that fort in the middle. Make sure that Jaina gets out. Ultralisk, careful. Muradin is on it. And the Frost Lady is gone. Muradin came in, budget Gimli, makes his move, and they trade Jaina for the fort. Totally worth it. Void Prison, as expected, as the ult for Zeratul with the build that he's running here. That was a pretty obvious one. Now, with the early level 10, the Enjoyers can now straight up go for camps, claim a few of those. We have also ults on the blue team side by now. No surprises here. Something that we see a little bit more lately again is Dragon Blade, of course. So it's not just X-Strike all day, every day, but Dragon Blade is definitely being played a lot more. We saw it in the playoffs quite a bit already. And now that they're aiming for another objective, here comes Deckard Kane, gets immediately cocooned upon using his ult. But they still make the play, and Greymane is gone. Mopsio is targeted next. He's also eliminated. The triple VP is in and saves the rest of the team, but it doesn't change the fact that the Stack of Doom just took out 2 heroes and was able to grab the objective. In this case, the camp. Now, at the bottom of the map, with 1 turret still in their hands, we have Stack of Doom making a move for the wall. We're now 6.5 minutes into the game, and more structural damage is done by the blue team. They obliterated the fort in the middle, and they're opening up some pathways on the auxiliary lanes in order to get to a point where they can do the same thing on those side lanes. Next objective is, of course, spawning topside. Greymane, with him dying earlier, is now down to 9 stacks on his level 7 talent. He was already looking a lot better there, but he's still sitting at 15,000 damage, which puts him into 3rd place, just behind Blaze and Genji, who are the top damage dealers here. Jaina is trailing them pretty hard. Ultralisk for now is only at 9k, which is roughly as much as Muradin has. This is obviously going to change once that we see more big team fights between the 2 teams. But at least for now, Jaina is trailing pretty heavily. Nubarak, bullet hits hard. Mopsio right behind the cockroach, but they're still able to get out of this. Zeratul was still sitting in the middle for a moment and thinking about rejoining the team, and now they're actually flanking in. Zeratul is coming as well. Doesn't have the BP yet, but he will be ready with it pretty soon. 5 more seconds. They go for Nubarak already. Good Ancestral. The sleeper setup from Deckard Cain. But Cocoon comes as Darkmock tries to re-engage, and now they're jumping in Mopsio. Mopsio is about to go down, so is Greymane. Both of them die. Pretty much the same as we saw on the turret camp. Deckard Cain also taken down, and this is starting to get nasty for the Enjoyers. This is the Stack of Doom getting kill after kill, and now focusing their attention on the fort itself. But yeah, big one. Muradin and Greymane, they were the first ones to be taken out. The VP came in a bit late. Again, initially it was on cooldown at the fight start, and obviously now the Stack of Doom with a bit of momentum here. 7 kills, 2-3. The wall, not a problem, barely slowing them down here, opening up a path towards the keep, as we only have a single fort standing for the Enjoyers at the top lane. And Jaina is, of course, also working towards her baseline quest. So she's sitting at 9,000 and a bit. Basically 75% done with the quest before she gets her ice block. Greymane with the Unfettered Assault. Muradin has gone Bronzebeard Rage after starting with Reveration here. And Blaze is at the top, already looking at the objective, saying a bit of beacon progress is definitely something. As we now have Shingan on Genji, who obviously has to also start doing some serious damage to the opponent's backliners, because now we have a 1-level lead for the blue team. And once they hit 16, they can definitely be a lot more aggressive and try and leverage that advantage. Always assuming, of course, that they maintain it for another level, but chances of that are pretty good. Muradin jumping in, and Nubarak wasting no time, instantly getting out here. Deckard Cain, here comes the ult, but they can't trap him enough. Ultralisk gets his quest reward, so now he can ice block as well. And they easily push him back here. Blaze is still at the bottom of the map, so this is not even an even numbers fight. Zeratul came back in once more, but that's a problem. Arian is low. Genji nearly gets the kill, as Blaze has gotten another minion wave and is now moving towards the middle to try and grab another one here. They have level 16 talents for that very reason and can now easily go for the camp in the middle. Support camp is claimed, so item advantage also for Stack of Doom now. And for the red team, this is now a pretty awkward period. You're 1 level down, you're a talent down, and you know that you shouldn't really fight for anything, so you're just sitting there watching your opponent grab the objective and push the minions in. And all that you can essentially do is try and get as many of the waves as possible to close the gap as quickly as you can, and hope that you don't fall too far behind. I like that they at least have 2 of the heroes down at the bottom of the map in an attempt to put pressure on the fort down here. But top side, they're already getting pressured a bit. Mopsio is sitting at the sides. Could always go for a flank if a target presents itself, but he gets sniffed out by X-Ray way too early. But here comes the Protector. So Jaina is going to move in here, and this will cost them the top side fort. Now, to be fair, as I said earlier, there is some pressure at the bottom of the map. Those minions will be taken out soon. But for now, it's still a nice advantage for the Enjoyers to at least get something here at the bottom lane. That topside fort, the last one standing, is already gone. Protector still marching on. VP in the back, though. Muradin jumping in. They're trying to get a kill here. Blaze still fine. And the follow-up from Deckard Cain not quick enough to lock him down for good. So this is still pressure from the Enjoyers. They're trying to force the Protector back. But as I said before, the forts are already all gone. So, yeah, Jaina is the only... Genji is now coming in. They're putting the 2 damage dealers in for now. This is obviously a general problem that you oftentimes have with a Protector, that you put heroes in the Protector and all of a sudden the rest of your lineup is extremely vulnerable and can quickly be attacked. So that is a pretty common problem to have. 40,000 damage by now from Genji, 28,000 from Greymane. And Jaina is catching up for sure. There's waves on the top and the bot lane that are aggressively, you know, pushing for structures. Talking about pushing and aggressive, they're trying to take the Arca down here. Not quite working it for them. But the next attack is coming. Muradin is already down, so he's destroyed. That's the 3rd time that Mopsio has now died. And they can break down another wall with that advantage. In a 4 versus 5 with the opponent not being able to feel the tank, this is definitely something where they have the edge. Blaze is already moving down to the bottom of the map. There's still a massive wave, plus Catapult pushing in. So as long as he gets that a bit closer towards the keep, they can get some actual keep damage in. It won't be a lot, but every single bit matters, and it will set you up for later on in the game. And let's not forget that the next objective spawns at the bottom of the map. So far the blue team has been pretty diligent grabbing those. And once that they're moving in for Protector number 3, if they claim it, they have a solid shot at taking that bot lane keep out and maybe going for the core directly. I mean, at the end of the day, they have only half a level until level 20. So, it's going to be a big advantage for them on the talent side. Just need to line all of that up properly. 1 gambit stack removed from the Haka on level 7. We have 14 stacks now for Greymane. Once again, the jump from Muradin. Bullet and Darkmorg stops a bit early here and dies. And the perfect setup for Deckard Cain. Stay a while and get wrecked. Triple kill for the red team. That VP into a Deckard Cain ult was exactly what they needed here. VP is in, Deckard Cain says hello, and then, of course, it is just carnage. Genji was able to escape, but they took down Rhaegar, and then shortly after that, it is Jaina that falls. The blue team now has level 20, and the Enjoyers, of course, they are closing in on it as well. Finally also able to take a few structures down. They're moving towards the top on take that quickly. That's the first fort that they were able to obliterate. But the Haka is at the bottom of the map, trying to make it 2 by escorting the minions in here. And in the meantime, of course, there's still 7 seconds until Nubarak is back. If they can get kills right now, this would be fantastic. Imagine them staggering a couple of deaths at this point. Yeah, but here comes Außenseiter. Goes for Greymane and he obliterates the big bad wolf. 9 kills to 6. Nicely done. Still, I like that we have some cool moments now from the Enjoyers as well. That's exactly what we anticipated when specifically Zeratul was picked. And that follow-up from Deckard Cain was fantastic. Now he obviously upgraded into Respect the Elderly. So, in this case, you have an even stronger argument for that particular combo. Zeratul has now also Shadow Mending. But just talking about Deckard Cain and Zeratul, if they set the same combo up again, they can do a lot of damage here. Zeratul will be looking for those clusters. Whenever there is a lot of opponents stacked in one spot, there is an opportunity for him to set Deckard Cain up again. But they have to first of all survive the initiation from the blue team. And they're struggling with the Haka, with Muradin. All of them are a little bit low, but the first one to fall is the old man. The old geezer is gone, and so is the keep. Deckard Cain went down faster than Joe Biden up a flight of stairs, so that's kill number 1, but they get the counter kill on Genji. Zeratul is also gone. They're going blow for blow here with 11 kills to 7 right now. and still a chance to maybe even go for that core. I think they will likely transition towards the keep instead and hope to take this one out. They still run a numbers advantage over the opponent's team, but hey, they are able to do at least some damage here. The objective is up, so blue team could easily fall back, try and take the Punisher, the Protector, and then play it from there. But at this point in time, 46,000 from Greymane, we have 52,000 from Genji. Außenseiter getting the kill earlier was pretty important. When you're looking over to Murd and Genji, both of them now died 3 times, but then at the same time, with the items that they just locked in, they're trying to go for the keep after all. And they're of course hoping to also get some kills here. They're getting Murd in! A little bit unexpected, but hey, worked out for them. Now we have Ice Block from Jaina. Ancestral is in. Greymane went too deep, gets instantly targeted, and Itrax could fall, but they are able to get him out of the fight. Dehaka low, gets stunned, the keep already gone. By now we have Genji back up, 40 seconds until Murden is back to business. And now the big opportunity, of course, to come either for the objective or just take a few more camps. Außenseiter is already on it. But 12 kills to 7 now. And really good coordination on the side of the Stack of Doom. This is looking a bit more like what we expected initially from them when they started into the tournament. So maybe having the experience, the practice together for a couple of weeks has also sharpened them up here. But this is looking way more like the team we expected as they first started out. Now, they are still in a loser's bracket here, but this is at least a great start for them into the best of 5 series. Obviously, the game not over, and if one thing has been proven earlier already, then it's that the Enjoyers can always turn a fight. They've done it with a combo around Zeratul and Deckard Cain, and they have a shot of doing the same thing, of course, again, as we are fighting for the Punisher at the bottom of the map. But suffice it to say, the Enjoyers are with the back to the wall now. They have lost 2 of their keeps, and the opponent has not only not lost the keep yet, but they are still holding on to one of their forts in the middle, which means that the mid lane is currently producing a continuous stream of catapults against the Enjoyers with 0 counter pressure, which definitely is a problem. It's 20 versus 20, so you have to be careful how you approach the team fights. But on a macro level, the Enjoyers should be pretty happy that they have a global here. Dehaka is going to help them a lot to maintain lane control. So without him, this would be a huge problem. An even bigger one than it is anyways. 87% against 65. X-Ray eats the Stormbolt. And I guess Body Block too. There's some assistance at least coming in. VP, but the Insta-Cocoon against Zeratul. Now they're trying to turn it on Greymane again, and here comes Außenseiter. Stirwile, the old man, trying the ult. Didn't really do anything for him. Außenseiter is still trying to get a kill here, but so far it hasn't really worked out. He needs healing and is protected. So they're slowly moving him back out of the fight, but that's a lot of ults that just got used for not really a whole lot. I mean, nobody died here. So Außenseiter wasn't able to get kills as he goes straight in for his ult. We had Zeratul attempting to set it up with the VP. That didn't work properly either, but now we have the first objective in this game for the Enjoyers. So the Enjoyers with one, with one protector, the question just is what are they going to do with it? Currently not a whole lot because they have to start protecting the lanes first. They got a lot of time here, of course. 1.5 minutes is plenty. So they can take their time. They don't have to rush for structures right away. They can try and defend the lanes a little bit. Make sure that they're taking out the camps at the top, and then slowly make their way through the middle of the map. Yeah, Stack of Doom is already starting to poke a bit. They want to meet this early. Just take some of the HP down. There's only Murden, the Protector, too. Zeratul is now joining him. Dehaka still at the bottom of the map. I mean, they gotta get to the structures eventually. Seems like they're not really willing to commit with this one way or another. Dehaka still not here, but there's the damage now. So that wall will fall. The Protector is actually hitting pretty hard at this point. So you can take quite a few structures out. Wall has already been destroyed. I'm not sure if they can take the entire fort, but they should be able to do a little bit more damage than what they've done already. Especially with Dehaka now also saying hello here. 28 seconds left. and it's not really looking like they're gonna go too deep on this one. Both Muradin and Zeratul have, of course, tools of mobility that could be used if they find themselves deep in enemy territory with this. But the main reason for them was honestly denying the Punisher, the Protector, to the opponent, and not necessarily to themselves do a lot of structural damage. But I still feel that the fort at least should have fallen. They could have committed that much. They decided against it, playing it even safer. But this also means that it's going to be a battle for items for the time being. A couple of turrets, a couple of healing beacons, which is exactly what the blue team is currently focusing on. The damage numbers, we have Jaina on 62,000. Genji is sitting at 60k. On the red team side, it's, as you would expect, Greymane in the pole position. He's sitting at 61. And then Zeratul behind him at 47,000. We had a couple of really nice plays from Zeratul, but it's tricky for him right now. Not a Might of the Nerazim build, so a lot centers around the AoE that he brings in, and you can see it in the siege damage that he has. 220,000 siege damage for Zeratul. Comes in with the Void Prison. Here's the opportunity. Deckard Cain with the ult, and it comes too late. Deckard Cain hits nothing, barely hits the bunker with it, so that didn't work out for them. Now the kill on the Haka. And that is just bad news. Außenside on an absolute tear as he comes in with his own ult once more. Pressures the old man, jumps back out, and they're focusing their attention on Muradin. Mopsio doesn't seem to have a chance here. Genji with a swift strike comes in, gets the reset, tries again, and then gets murdered by Zeratul. Definitely overstepping. Typical Genji play here. A bit too greedy and then gets punished. Doesn't change the fact that it's only 3 defenders and they might lose more if Greymane, for example, gets now stunned out and targeted by Ultralisk. And Greymane is trying to use the bit of mobility that he has, but now is in more or less in a corner. Jaina, though, yeah, couldn't get too close here. Zeratul was always eyeing for a flank and attempting to take her down. So that's 14 kills to 8, and I'm still not 100% convinced that the Enjoyers can end it here. The Haka is back in 7 seconds. Catapults in the middle should be destroyed. Zeratul is already on it. So the red team is going to get their heroes back. For the stack of Doom, after they lost Genji, the question of course remains, how do they plan on turning this? As we have more minutes ticking into the game, it also means that catapults are getting stronger and stronger. So that is a big bonus for the blue team. The Enjoyers are going to struggle with that. Again, the Haka is so essential for them in this situation. Without his global ability, this would be so much more dangerous. Now, all the way at the top. Still starting to slowly make the moves here. 17 stacks, by the way, for Greymane on his level 7. Only 1 Gambit stack remaining for the Haka. Was already hearthing back here. I am honestly not quite sure why. I guess he wants to go for the top? Yes, okay. Tries to go to the top lane to stop all of this. But the Protector is now up for grabs again with the beacon in the middle. And this is what the fight is essentially going to boil down to. The battle for the mid lane Protector. If the blue team takes it, chances are the game is going to end here and we will see Stack of Doom taking a lead in the series. If on the other hand the Enjoyers are able to take the objective, then things become a bit more interesting, because I think the blue team could defend this. Just a question of how much would be lost. Jet propulsion, alright, good damage. Muradin. Mopsio is a little bit low. Gets an avatar out eventually. Wanted to save the cooldown from the looks of it. But now they're trying to turn it. And it's the Haka that gets targeted again just as he came in. They still want the item though, and they're able to claim it. They might even get a kill here. Ancestral is out. Old man again with the ult, but here comes Außenseiter trying to get the damage in with his 20. Eats the Stormbolt, dies again. Great move also by Zeratul with the VP to shut down the support. But the blue team comes back out and is still able to kill Muradin. Trying to go for Deckard Cain. Quick lick from the Haka. Shuts that down for now. But the fight is not over by any means. Zeratul all over the place, dishing out damage and brings himself now up to 68,000. So in the last couple of seconds during the team fight, he got 27,000 damage. He's nowhere near what we're getting from Jaina, Genji and Greymane, but he's putting some respectable numbers in. just as I say, he gets targeted and dies, and Greymane does as well. So I guess the blue team is finally done with this. Comes in and says, boys, it's time to end the game. Core is already losing its shield. Now they're losing their Haka. This is lights out. The Stack of Doom with the victory on Volskaya Foundry. Their map choice. They wanted this one and they claim it. The 1-0 in the best of 5 series here in the losers bracket of the Anniversary Cup. GG.
Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV.
Tomb of the Spider Queen, map number 2, the lead for the Stack of Doom. Now we can blame Ultralisk all that we want for the horrible map choice and that we had to endure it, but let's be honest at least, they are fairly successful on that map. So Volskaya Foundry, usually a map where Ultralisk's teams do fairly well, and that's exactly what we're getting here. Now, I know that X-Ray said it was his fault, but that just shows how good of a manipulator Ultralisk actually is. Like, he's that guy that you're in a relationship with, you come up with all those glorious ideas that you don't know how they were planted in your head, and essentially it's him just manipulating you all day long, trying to convince you that it was your idea in the first place. So that's what happened to X-Ray here. Indicating to me that he has a very unhealthy relationship with Ultralisk. Ultralisk is taking advantage for sure, and he is forcing his teammates to pick Volskaya Foundry as a map. But then again, they're winning on the map, so can you really blame him? It's for the greater good at the end of the day. All stupid theories aside, map number 2, Enjoyers can of course now try and turn this around. We have Medivh banned out against Ultralisk. That's also a really good ban here. One hero that has been open, I believe also in game number 1, but specifically here now in Tomb of the Spider Queen, is Maiev. And that's something where you have to be very, very careful if you leave that open to Ultralisk. It's one of those weird situations, honestly, where you're going up against a player that has a lot of picks where you know that they're actually excelling on them, but you can't ban everything. So you are in that weird spot where all of a sudden a hero will be picked by your opponent, and everybody that looks at the ref is like, how could they leave that open? It's like, well, you have to ban a lot of other heroes as well. But Ultralisk is very, very tough to ban out. There are certain key heroes that he's known for, and again, he can always deviate away. I mean, we've talked about his Carrigan in the past, about his Maiev, Medivh, of course, and we have seen him a couple of times in Sergeant Hammer, where he has been doing well. So he is generally strong on Assassins too. Yeah, a lot to go for him. But Anubara gets banned in this case now. We have on the red team side Junkrat, Malfurion, and Leoric. So with Junkrat and Malfurion, you have great interrupt potential. Malfurion can just moonfire them all day, every day. And Junkrat with grenades galore, so no problem interrupting the opponent trying to turn in. Genji gets banned, so they're actually starting to screw a little bit with Außenseiter's hero pool as well. We get Gul'dan for him though, that already covers most of the wave clear. And just generally speaking, this is a great team composition for wave clear. We have Johanna, which is fantastic in that slot. We have Blaze, we have Gul'dan, that has already all of it covered, with Link coming in with Ana for a bit more pew pew pew, and can also boost Gul'dan, for example. Now, on the right side, we still need our main tank for Mopsio. Diablo is up if he wants it. Muradin is there as well. He goes for Diablo, and we get Mephisto. So we get 2 of the big evils. And Ultralisk. Ultralisk could also, with a nano boost and Tormented Souls, become a problem with Malthael against the opponent. Depends a bit what way they're going with the level 10 ability here. If they are committing 2 last rites, for example, or not. Either way, map number 2, we are in the losers bracket of the Anniversary Cup, ladies and gentlemen. Stack of Doom against the Enjoyers. Stack of Doom is in the lead, and the blue team on the left now with X-Ray on Blaze. We currently have Ultralisk on Malthael, Darkmog on Johanna. Außenseiter, as mentioned, he's going to play the wave clear for the team with Gul'dan. Question is just simply Echo Corruption build or Fellflame, and Linked is playing on Ana. Over on the right side, we got Makotzel on Malfurion for the Enjoyers. We have Arian on Mephisto. Diablo, played by Mopsio, of course. Itrax with Junkrat. And Richu is playing Leoric in game number 2 of the series. So, let's go. Final statement on Volskaya Foundry. I think I have to give a bit of a shout out to some of the Twitch comments. Ronyon came in with a pretty good sentiment about Volskaya. He's like, because I was talking about Ultralist's team at least winning there, and he just came in immediately. So like, nobody is winning on Volskaya Foundry, including the audience. We all lose, and I think that's true. That Volskaya game was not as horrible as they usually are, so I think that was the saving grace for the starting map. But as a general sentiment, I absolutely agree. Everybody loses when a game gets played on this map, including the audience. It's usually just a snooze fest and full-on resident sleeper. But the objective actually did things this time, at least when it was controlled by the blue team. So, yeah. But Volskaya definitely one of the maps that we don't want to see a lot of. Now, game number 2, Tomb of the Spider Queen. That's a different story. We want to see a lot more of that. Well, a Tomb of the Spider Queen is always a lot of fun. Can also be some longer games on this one, of course, but normally fairly entertaining here. Now, down at the bottom of the map, already a bit of damage done against X-Ray. And, yeah, Richu, this time not on his Dehaka, so he's gonna go for the big drain. Using the janitor skin, of course. Yep, because Richu is gonna try and take out the trash at the bot lane. Ghosts out. I personally love Leo. Leo is maybe not the most dynamic character to play, but when it just comes to side laners, it's a very relaxed game experience with Leoric. Just swing, you drain, you get the wave clear out, you have your escape tool, and if you land a couple of godlike entombs, then you just set up the team for success. So always very enjoyable there. Bit of a skirmish already between the two teams, as of course everybody wants to start safeguarding their gems. With level 4 abilities, we now also have for Blaze Incinerator Gauntlets. We get the Throwing Shade. Instantly, I mean, some of the sleep darts that we've already seen were on point. There was just not enough of a follow-up yet, but we all know that if that continues throughout the game, there will be multiple cases later where a sleep dart is just going to set up the rest of the team to get those kills in. And level 10 abilities are going to be very interesting in that context too. There could be a lot that happens here, and I'm specifically having my eye, for example, on Gul'dan, and once that is Horrify is in, what's he's gonna do with that. I wish Blizzard would buff the Rain of Vengeance a little bit more, change the talent slightly. It would be kind of funny to see this more. There's nothing more funny than Rain of Vengeance coming in some of the ARAM tournaments or ARAM matches. I still remember when we had 2 or 3 Gul'dans in the same ARAM game, in the same brawl, and they just used their ult always at the same time on the same area, and it was just a death zone. So if the opponent was still trapped there, everybody would just die. So we don't see that obviously in a tournament game, you can't layer it like that. But it's just funny sometimes when an ult like that all of a sudden pops out. But of course in a tournament environment, Horrify is just too good. Can't give up on this. Down at the bottom of the map, Leo still holding this one solo. We currently have 14, 15 gems, 25 actually now turned in for the blue team. So they are slowly getting towards turn in number 1. And X-Ray is delivering another 5, which are not being interrupted. Darkmog is holding 29 gems. So him turning in would guarantee the first Webier wave to the Stack of Doom. And they could sneak Jojo in at one of the turning points. Leo's now trying to turn in, but gets interrupted. We have 19 gems delivered so far, though. Yeah, level 7 talents on both sides. The play for Ultralisk. Ultralisk. And he gets saved by Ana. Yeah, that got tricky. That one got a bit more dangerous, for sure. So, right now, 17 stacks for Gul'dan on his level 1, which is honestly not too bad. That's a pretty decent progress that he currently makes here. We've definitely seen worse in this tournament. But who gets the turn in? Currently, nobody getting too close to the first objective, and we're already 5 minutes into the game. Leo down at the bottom of the map, still locked into that 1v1 against Blaze, and here nobody's making the moves, but Darkmog now turned in, so he's able to pull that off, and that is the first Webweaver wave in this series. So, let's see how much damage they can do. Stack of Doom in the lead in the match, but how much damage can they actually now do with the first objective? Diablo hoping to get a kill. I mean, the best thing that can honestly happen to you is if your opponent gets the objective, and while this thing is still channeling and about to drop down, you all of a sudden engage from the side, get a kill, and then the entire push falls apart. That's not the case here. They're still able to do some work, and in the scenario where you have the first turn in, you normally want to at least get the towers and the gates. It's kind of your minimum. Any actual fort damage you can get is fantastic and is awesome, but yeah, we'll see. For now, there's already the wall destroyed. Fort is taking some damage as well. We have at the top, the gate at least taken down. Most of the towers have so far survived. They're going for Leo, and Richu falls. That's also 9 gems eliminated. This is a lot of damage at the bottom fort. So this fight isn't over. There might be a kill on the horizon for them. Mopsio! And Diablo is about to die. Diablo goes down. That's 17 gems. And more importantly, they lose the fort as well. So the gems are mostly recovered, but the fort is gone. Ultralisk is also dead. Nice kill by Arian with Mephisto, but that was totally worth it. With the first objective to take a fort down, that's pretty big. By the way, Ana went as expected into the nano boost, and now we have also Tormented Souls. Now I talked a little bit on, well, in the draft actually, about that particular combo once that we saw Malthael locked in, so you don't have to go for last rites. We see more and more Tormented Souls lately, but specifically with Ana, you are not set into a position where you have to nano boost Gul'dan. You can now nano boost Malthael and really wreak havoc with him. I think just recently I told about a series of games that we played a couple of years ago where a team went double support, Uther main tank, doubling as a support, coming in and dropping a Divine Shield onto Malthael. Then he gets the boost from Ana and just wreaks havoc on Infernal Shrines. That's obviously not quite what's happening here. It's not that all in, but still very, very powerful if executed properly. And also another kill coming in. That's 14 gems on the ground, which X-Ray is currently trying to guard, but Itrax is grabbing most of this. So, 3 kills to 1. Still good for the blue team. The defense against the Web Weavers, as the Enjoyers have now finally turned in, is still going strong. Mephisto is holding back his level 10 ability. Endurance of Hate is what he would expect, but maybe he is deviating away from it. Nope, there it is. Endurance of Hate is in. Gul'dan is gone. Taken out by Junkrat. But the red team just doesn't get the same amount of structural damage that Stag of Doom was able to accomplish with his level, with their first Web Weaver wave. So, yeah, that's going to be pretty rough if they can't follow up with any additional damage here. It's a half-level lead right now, and we'll see how much they can actually do here. But at this point, still a turn-in opportunity for both teams. But Stag of Doom is so much more successful with the pushes that they've been executing. They have also the earlier level 13. And Jojo, if Darkmook can turn in, that is 38 gems. And actually, they're going to get those delivered. Those gems will be handed in. X-Ray with 19 would be really nice to get rid of his gems too. We have more drain from Leoric now with the Unyielding Despair here. And yep, X-Ray delivers. So that's the blue Web Weavers once again. And they're of course going to try and take more forts out. The first one has already fallen. And there's a few more that are up for grabs as we speak. 30 stacks for Gul'dan. Also nice position for him to be in. He wants to complete that by the time his level 16 talent kicks in. And then he's going to get a lot out of this. But right now, we have the push coming in. The camp is about to be defeated in the mid lane. And this is where they're aiming for first. Nobody is down at the bottom of the map to push here. Leo has tried to defend this at least a bit. But yeah, this one's gone. They're not even trying to defend here. Instead, they're going towards the top. Blaze does not really get caught here. So the mid lane fort is gone for sure. Ult from Mephisto didn't accomplish much either. This is a problem for the Enjoyers. They're losing a lot. They're using Riptire to take the Web Weavers down. Still some damage done. Now they're going for Diablo. And he makes it through. So Malfurion is helping him out a lot. But that's still tons of damage. And in the middle of the map, we see the gate slowly falling. First tower is already eliminated. And they're going to get even more here as the blue team refocuses their attention towards the top lane. and redoubles their efforts to try and take out the fort, or at least damage it severely. 3 kills to 2 overall. The damage output, Gul'dan is in the top spot with 30,000. And we have 21,000 for Blaze coming in as a close second. You look over to the red team side and we have 18,000 for Mephisto, and that's pretty much it. Mopsio, the Apocalypse, tries to engage, but because of the little slow there, it totally backfired. The combo not working. Durance of Hate didn't connect either. So now, here comes Ultralisk with that nano boost. Gets the first kill. They go for Mopsio. That's 35 gems down the drain. Lots of gems lost at this point from the Enjoyers. And they don't even have enough for another turn-in. And of course, in that 5 versus 3 situation, there is no hesitation from the Stack of Doom. They come in and instantly move for the boss. Diablo was nearly stacked at his baseline, sitting at 93. Just not enough to quickly revive here. Not it would have made much of a difference. Ruinous Affliction is now ready with level 16 for Gul'dan. We have the 40 stacks nearly completed, not quite yet, for him on level 1 with Echoed Corruption. But here comes that push that we've been talking about, and they took the fort out in before the boss was there. It's an early game boss. Well, early mid game, 11.5 minutes. No level 16 talents yet. Arian eats lots of damage here. Blessed shield thrown out over the wall in order to help out with this. The wall is already gone, by the way, so the boss is aiming straight for the keep. And this could be the first one that falls in this game. Diablo with another engage. Gets also the soul stacks together. But this keep is losing hit points, and it's losing them quickly. If Außenseiter comes in with more Echoed Corruption, they can really start to take that bad boy out. But might not quite work for them. They're getting close here. The Entomb used though. Apocalypse shortly after. Quest completed for Gul'dan. Ana with the heals, one after another. The bunker ready, but Ana down. Gul'dan down. And so dies Mephisto as well. That's 4 heroes already gone, and this is not the end of it. Ultralisk dies as well. 3 deaths on the side of the blue team. They didn't get the keep, but they did a lot of damage, killing 2 heroes in the process as well. There is a turn-in opportunity, though, for the Enjoyer. So they have a chance to turn in with Darkmok and the rest of the team to get themselves some Web Weavers. But big battle at the top lane. I think there could have been a bit of a focus shift, just aiming for the structure and not even trying to get hero kills. That would have most likely allowed them to take the keep out. But, yeah, again, they were, of course, looking for a little bit more here. Just the fact that they took every single fort out on the map is already big and puts them heavily ahead of the opponent's team. Chance, then again, for the Enjoyers to potentially bring this back a bit. 30,000 damage for Junkrat. We got 40,000 for Malthael and 43,000 for Gul'dan. Leo. Yeah, that is a ton of damage. That is tons of damage that Leo just experienced firsthand here. Cams are claimed on both sides as the Web Weavers are about to descend. And how much damage can they do this time? This is the second turn-in for the Enjoyers. Red team didn't do all that well with their first turn-in, but now it's time to take some forts out. Leo, though, dies quickly, taken down by Gul'dan and the rest of the team at the bottom of the map, as we have some action here in the middle. Web Weaver is getting attacked. Darkmok fully alive here. No issues for him. First Web Weaver easily taken apart. And with Leoric gone for another 40 seconds, it seems like the defense might be a bit easier than expected. But here comes Diablo with the engage. And Gul'dan is in trouble. Gets the Horrify out though. And that puts Mopsio in a real awkward spot. And Diablo dies. He had his stacks together, so he'll be back. But still, that's a nice, neat little kill that they were able to get. And that all happened because Gul'dan, in the moment of death, was able to come through with a quick Horrify to at least allow them to revenge him. Ultralisk defended against the Web Weaver at the top. And that's closing in on level 20. So another objective that's not successful for the Enjoyers. All the forts still standing. The Enjoyers just don't make any headway here. That's the problem. Not getting ahead on anything with this. Oh, X-Ray! Low! And Arian cannot secure the kill. Richu goes down. Diablo with another wall stun as they're going for Malthael, but the nano boost is really helping Ultralisk out, and they're coming in for another Diablo kill. This is now the second one in about a minute, and of course there's no more stacks for Diablo. That's a kill right there. 11 kills to 6, and they have level 20. No buyback for Malthael, instead Reaper of Souls. So, upgrading his level 10 ability here. They have enough gems for a turn-in. Boss is up in 31 seconds, but they want the web weavers first. And they can grab them pretty easily here. This should be another keep. Well, the first keep. Topside keep is the one that they're now going to go for. And it shouldn't really cause an issue for them to take this one out. The defense will still be fine. Diablo is going to be back in 10 more seconds. So by the time that the web weavers are in position, they're going to be ready to defend. There's a lot of gems still in the hands of heroes like Junkrat, so the red team has to be super cautious that they're not losing them. Markotzel is holding 22, just to give you another example. If they lose those, then it's going to be an utter disaster. 5 deaths on Leoric, activating his trade, making good use out of it. He's min-maxing. He's trying to get the max value out of his trade. So Richu died 5 times, Mopsio died 4 times. Now the level 20 talents are available for the Enjoyers. And it gives you the upgrade on the Twilight Dream, plus also Buried Alive for Leoric. Top Keep doesn't even get defended, they just accept that this is going to go down. Astral Communion here could be an interesting one. Keep an eye on Malfurin for sure. But the topside keep is the only thing that the Web Weaver wave destroyed. So the only thing that got dropped. Nothing else really. Well, I guess that's not really fair. This keep is also very, very low, so I suppose they accomplished that. But just as a tangible result, it's only the top keep that has been eliminated. Now that gives you some catapult control. Obviously, since the Stack of Doom still has every single fort in play, it also means that they have a much easier time to control the maps, just simply because the catapults are going to help them to push this back, which obviously then grants a little bit more vision, also threatens the opponent's structures. But with 11 kills to 6, X-Ray and his team, they're now looking for more chances to make plays here. And here comes already the first stun. The two evils, Mephisto and Diablo at the front, looking for targets. And Diablo is also looking for more stacks for his baseline quest, because he has no revive right now. Junkrat to go down to the bottom of the map, and they are playing around the boss a little bit. I guess for now, more baiting the opponent in slightly. Junkrat is still at the bottom of the map, dealing with the wave, whereas Malthael, of course, is grabbing another camp for them. Junkrat has 48 gems now. Yeah, he basically has a solo turn in here. Not quite yet, but he's getting very, very close. If he dies, that would be an utter disaster. Well, if anybody dies, honestly, and it seems like Leo's gonna fall once more. Leo attacked, Entomb not connecting, good APOC combo, but Blaze is ready with the bunker, and now with all the ults used, we just have the Stack of Doom looking for opportunities here. Nano Boost has been used on Malthael, but he didn't pop Tormented Souls. Horrify is also still available for them. Junkrat needs to deal with the middle, or this is going to be the end of the keep. It could be. But they feel they have to try and defend the boss. Leo is the one that has been killed, so he is scouting all of this out and will be back in only 15 seconds, less probably. So the boss is not going to get attacked here. 90 gems still in the hands of the Enjoyers. They hold a lot. They definitely can get another turn in, but this is obviously the problem. The keep is now gone. That is the second keep that falls. And the fight breaks out. If the red team doesn't win this one, it's just lights out. Horrify already utilized. They go for Mephisto, and Arian is gone. That is the main damage dealer on the red team side eliminated. Diablo is also in trouble. The entire team is in trouble. The Enjoyers are going down, one hero after another, 3 killed, and that brings us to 15 kills to 6. And they want to play this super safe and come through for the boss here. It's only 3 survivors currently for the Enjoyers. Definitely not enough to make a big splash here. Well, they're killing Jojo. That's a good start. Now it's only a 3 versus 4, but the boss is still taken and claimed. So now they can try and fight with the numbers advantage against the remaining heroes, and they might be able to pull that one off. Gul'dan is about to go down, but they save him with a bunker on the heels from Ana. And now that Malthael comes in to take down Junkrat and Diablo, there's basically no defenders left. Markotzler falls. 5-man team wipe. Everybody gone, which means obviously no more gems in the hands of the Enjoyers. And the boss moving through the top. Leo respawns, gets killed again, and that is game. The Enjoyers are losing a second map in a row with a stack of Doom now taking a significant lead in the best of 5 series. And it's going to be 3 match points from here on out potentially that the Enjoyers have to defend against, or they drop out of the tournament. A victory on Tomb of the Spider Queen for the blue team. Nicely done, GG, and well played. Game number 3. We're going to Infernal Shrines, and Stack of Doom has the 2-0 lead over the Enjoyers. The Polish team struggling a little bit here. They need to try and bring this back right now, and they need to channel their inner rage, whatever it is. Napierdalai, let's go, let's make it happen. Let's get a few more games in for us. They are so close to being eliminated from the tournament. So, yeah, we'll see. For now, we have Stack of Doom with the ban on Chromie. Hogger got banned too. Map choice was again made by the blue team, by the way. So, at least in this series, the Enjoyers have now chosen every time that they lost the map that they prefer to have first pick, first ban over map choice. Which means that all 3 maps that we've seen thus far have been picked by the Stack of Doom. And they want to go for Infernal Shrines now. Medivh gets banned again. But this is also a map where Ultralisk could bust out his Mayav play. Now, we'll see what they're going to do with this. For the time being, though, couple of things also about like Darkmok here. I mean, Darkmok has now shifted into a main tank position. We had previously X-Ray sometimes playing that role. I think they could still swap things around, but you could tell that the team was probably not too happy with the early results in the group stage either, so then they shifted roles slightly. We had at times also Cure sub in as X-Ray couldn't make it for one specific day. But when you have Darkmok now in a role where he has to play the main tank, you also have to make sure that he gets a tank that really works for him. And I would say that this is going to be a very good indicator that we're going to get the tank role filled pretty quickly, so that he has just free reign, and that's exactly what we're getting here. So Johanna again for Darkmok, and we have Blaze on the side. They start with a really true and tried combo, an absolute staple in so many Heroes of the Storm compositions. I mean, Blaze Johanna as an opening has been around for, I don't know, 7, 8 years now at a minimum, more than that. It's just a really powerful tool, and that has not changed, despite some of the balance patches that we had. This is still a very nice lineup to have and to start things off with, leaves you flexible on the rest. We get Dehaka and Diablo, so for Mopsio the reasoning is essentially the same. You're playing on Infernal Shrines now, where you have a lot of walls around the shrine where Diablo can stun targets into. Dehaka obviously not only for Richo always a great pick. I mean, Dehaka was even target banned against Richo in previous series because he's so good, generally speaking, on Dehaka, and they oftentimes lock him in very, very quickly. Now in Infernal Shrines, you have not only the global that you can use, but also really strong presence on the shrine themselves whenever the objective is up. Genji gets banned, this time by Stack of Doom actually, so they also have no interest picking it for themselves, with Außenseiter likely going to end up on a mage again. But I have my eye on Ultralisk. I want to see what Ultralisk does here. Are we going to get a triple frontline at some point, and they're playing something nasty with Maiev being added to the mix? In days of old, I would have also thrown Kerrigan in for consideration, but less likely. We get Ana and we have Gul'dan. So similar to our last map, Gul'dan and Ana once again. I mean, the entire combo is essentially the same that we're getting from them here. They're playing the exact same draft right now. Like, that worked pretty well actually. So how about we do that again? Ultralisk, he could be the X factor here. I don't necessarily expect him to go down the same path. But for the Enjoyers, we get Sylvanas, first time that she appears in the series, and we get Deckard Cain. Yep. And here comes Malthael. It's the exact same draft, don't know what to tell you. They looked at the draft of game number 2 and they just said, you know what guys, let's do the same thing again. Works perfectly. Why change? And off we go. Infernal Shrines, first match point for Stack of Doom. Game number 3. It is match point for the blue team. So far, Stack of Doom has done very well. We have them in a 2-0 lead over the Enjoyers, and over on the left side here on Infernal Shrines, we now have X-Ray on Blaze. I mean, again, it is the exact same combo that they just played on Tomb of the Spider Queen. With Darkmog on Johanna, we got Linked on Anna, Ultralisk on Malthael, and Außenseiter on Gul'dan. So absolutely no changes here. To be fair, when it comes to the lineup of the Enjoyers, there are also a lot of similarities. We have Mopsio now on Diablo, Itrax on Junkrat. Richu has swapped characters out, no Leo but Dehaka this time, Makotzel on Deckard Cain, and Arian is playing Sylvanas. So, Sylvanas in the house, and, well, maybe they can gain some momentum with her abilities. Oh, Anna in a very bad spot here, but is able to get away. That looked dicey for a second though. If the red team could have followed up here, that could have been the first kill of the game. If Anna gets hit by a grenade, by displacement, by a trap, that's always really, really bad news. For now, though, they go and focus on Ultralisk, and Ultralisk is about to be ultra dead if he doesn't pay attention. He gets away, dodges out on some of the grenades, and escapes. A couple of close calls this early in the game already. So yeah, gotta be really careful here. Junkrat is just annoying people all the game around again. Now, over on the top. Oh, Diablo! Mopsio, no! Okay, he didn't Lauber. He didn't die within the first minute, but he Mopsio'd. He is still dead and first blood. Gets caught and killed, and they were hoping to catch the rest of the team at the bottom of the map here too. I mean, Mopsio didn't die. I mean, Mopsio didn't just get caught and killed. He strategically died to buy time for the rest of the team to take the camp at the bottom of the map. So, yeah. It was all calculated. All planned from the get-go. Now, level 4 is kicking in. A little bit faster for the blue team, and this might end up with the camp being taken. This is also a really bad spot to fight with the choke point, but Außenseiter is the one that gets attacked, and he's the one guy that needs to survive here. So he goes down. Now it's a 5 versus 4, and this could very quickly turn against the blue team if they're fighting this one out, but they're doing a lot of damage against their opponents, and they might be able to get a kill. They're going for Dehaka. He's low, but it's Malthael that dies. Jojo is on the wrong side of the battle and will also fall. That's 3 kills all of a sudden against the blue team. So that one flipped quickly. This could have been a total disaster, by the way, for the Enjoyers as well, as everybody jumped onto the spot. If Dehaka didn't have a burrow available here, he would have probably died first, and then it could all turn against the Enjoyers. But they made it happen. So there were quite a few things that came into play here. First of all, the choke point was a real big problem as Gul'dan was still firing away, but then they got him successfully pushed into the choke point, and all of a sudden he became the target. So Gul'dan not being able to escape that fate was what initially started to turn the fight. Jojo also finding herself on the completely different side of the battle was another problem, and then Malthael not able to sustain himself through that fight. That on the point was another issue. Anna behind all of this, trying to heal, and it just wasn't enough. But as is right now the case, we have an even experience on the two teams and the fight for the objective. Gul'dan again able to get out here. 22 stacks on the shrine against 10. And Gul'dan with a quick drain and back to business. Can go for Mopsio, gets good damage in, but he needs to try and control the choke points here as the blue team comes back through. 30 stacks now for the Enjoyers, and they're getting closer and closer to the first Punisher of the game. They also have the early level 7, which the blue team just doesn't have yet. and it doesn't look too great for the Stack of Doom on the first objective. They will have to retreat here. They gave up on this already. The question is simply, can X-Ray also get away? And yes, he gets out. So good for X-Ray to at least survive this, but the team has lost the objective. Arcane Punisher baited over the wall. Sylvanas, of course, empowering this push even more. And with 19 stacks for Gul'dan, our boy is still doing his best. We now have Malthel starting to move in from the side. On a pale horse, we got our aspect of death here. Trying to get in a good spot, but yeah, little that he can do. Can annoy Utrex a bit, but that's about it. So the rotation down to the bottom of the map. This is going to help a bit if Arian, for example, sets them up for another push on the fort. The one in the middle has taken damage, but nothing too drastic has happened. The kill count heavily leaning in favor of the Enjoyers, but the experience gain is, yeah, it's even. No real advantage here. Once the level 10 abilities are in, that's going to be a bit different though. This is where things are going to get pretty interesting. The comp worked really well for the Enjoyers, for the Stack of Doom last time. And specifically that Torment and Soul play from Ultralis posed to be a huge problem. The Horrifiers that we saw from Außenseiter were mostly solid as well, so if he lands another one here, that would be great. Diablo working on his stacks and trying to get his baseline stacked up, which is the case now. So he has his revive ready if need be. And the 1v1 still played out at the top. So right there we got Blaze going up against the Haka. The Haka with the global ability could still make a bit of an approach. We have on the damage side 15,000 roughly for Sylvanas, the same number for Gul'dan. So the two of them are just eye to eye here. The two World of Warcraft characters. Don't even know the lore between them. My money is on Sylvanas. I heard that Sylvanas is a big deal in World of Warcraft. I love, by the way, making fun about the World of Warcraft lore. There's always people that get essentially triggered by it. Like, totally nuts. I never really played the game. I played it once, years and years after it was already released, and I didn't enjoy it at all, but I really think you had to be there at the start. But at that time, I just started university, and I knew how much time I sank into Diablo 2. And I was like, alright, I have a choice here. Either I get a university degree, or I start with a World of Warcraft account. Those are my choices. And I chose university. I was for once in my life playing the smart card. That, on the other hand, was a really nice push. And Dark Mog is... Blessed shield against the Riptire. I mean, I understand the idea and the impulse, but that didn't work. That was pretty cool, though. I kind of like that. Like, here's another quick look at this. This was actually pretty sweet. I mean, check this one out. The shield drops with his iron skin. He tries to get the blessed shield out. It's like, maybe I can stun this or kill it. And it didn't work out. So, now Junkrat died as they pushed for the fort in the middle. There are counter kills here. Jojo is also back up on the map. But this was a pretty funny move by Darkmog trying to escape his inevitable death. Now we have the level 10 abilities. Diablo, by the way, hasn't chosen, so he's still making the choice between Lightning Breath and Apocalypse. But, yeah. Yeah, let's see. Frozen Punisher, so that's what they're going for. They will get this one for sure. And the red team just decided that they will push for the top instead and try and do damage here. This is a shoot and try concept on Infernal Shrines. If you don't go for one of the early two objectives, just go for structures directly and just try to out-damage the objective before it comes out. So do more damage than your opponent will be able to do with the Punisher, and then it all balances out in the end. And they've not doing... I mean, they've been doing pretty good here if you think about it. They destroyed the rest of the wall, and then in addition to that, they also got pretty much... What is this? 70% of the hit points on the board, so that is pretty sweet. It's gonna take a bit to make up for that. Down at the bottom of the map, the Frozen Punisher is moving in. There of course needs to be a defense, so this is going to be a lot. But they are pushing at the top, and this decision from Stack of Doom was definitely the right one. They were already at the top lane in the first place, so they can take down a fort here, and there will be some extra damage at the bot lane. It's not going to be a ton, but it's definitely going to be some damage. So they walk away at the end of the day with more damage than the Enjoyers were able to do with their Sylvanas push. They still have to defend what's happening next at the bottom of the map though, and they're already on their way. But now we have level 13 talents for them too. We have 30 stacks for Khaldor. And the damage output, Malthael 22,000, Khaldor 21,000. But a little bit of a red Dota style right now. They're rotating around the opponent and setting Sylvanas up time and time again to push structures. They've done it at the top, they've done it at the bottom. They still have to get out once the team actually approaches. But they got good damage in. Problem is that they lost Deckard Cain in the process because the old geezer was trying to hide in the fog there. And that got sniffed out pretty quickly. So Stack of Doom lock in another kill. And have the numbers advantage with the red team not running a healer at this point. So that essentially leads to another camp claim. And the push at the bottom of the map for the next fort. Mopsio is the only one around. Sleep Dart, Jet Propulsion. And the Mops is, well, maybe not getting out. I think, okay, he's going to get away here. Then here comes Darkmok. Lightning Breath is now in. And Mopsio is mega low, but Darkmok is dead. That's the difference here. So the fort is taken. Sylvanas is dead. Mopsio! And he dies. Außenseiter alive. And they want more. More kills. More carnage. Deckard Cain is back. Instantly uses his ult. Gets attacked here. And is able to walk away. Also got some assistance from Junkrat who had him covered. But those are good moves from the Stack of Doom. They are now even in kills with the opponent. They have a 1-level lead. And more importantly, they've taken out 2 forts. This can change since a lot of the forts on the blue team side have also taken damage earlier. But it's still just a fact that the blue team is slowly pulling ahead here. They are sitting at, well, basically a level 16 talent. And more importantly, if they get another Punisher, they can take even more structures out. So, Stack of Doom, we're getting is there. It's a bit of a question when exactly the objective up here at the top spawns. Because if it gets announced now, then time would slowly start to run out for the Enjoyers to get to the next talent. But I suppose that we're going to have a level 16 versus level 16 fight. And here it is again. They're coming in with that Sylvanas rotation. Sylvanas Junkrat making a move, and that is free damage. Easy free damage. They're starting to engage here. Sylvanas doesn't have a Wailing Arrow yet, but will have it back in 3 seconds. But Diablo's already dead, and the Horrify destroyed them. Absolutely destroyed them. The Haka gone. In comes Blaze looking for the jet propulsion. They want the old guy, and Deckard Cain is not going to escape this time. You can run. Well, he can try and run. He's not going to be able to. He's a little bit too slow, old, and fragile. But he can try. He can try. And it didn't work out for him. So now we have the Shrine activating. And, well, yeah. The fort in the middle gets destroyed without any resistance. And it's a freebie on the Punisher at the top. Anything else would be a bit of a surprise, because it's taking another 10 seconds for Deckard Cain to come back. Malthael is already on the point, and they're even stealing the opponent's Shaman camp away. So, yeah, that's going to be an easy one. We have the same little push at the bottom of the map, though, that we had previously. But Blaze is already showing and saying, guys, not on my watch. Can maybe sneak in if nobody's paying attention or if we're busy somewhere else, but as long as I'm there, you're not just simply taking our bottom fort without anything. They are still pushing though. They know that there's a couple of heroes sitting on the shrine up at the top. So yeah, Blaze just gets pushed back. They call the bluff and they're like, you know, you're alone, the Haka is here, and that's a fort. I really like rotations like this, especially when they're aware where the opponent is. So once that they have a bit more vision on the map and they can make plays like that, they can always try and get at least some value. I talked about how much damage they did in the middle and at the top, so if they can sneak somebody in there, that's another fort gone. This is the first step to start the comeback here. Keep in mind, there's not a single point on the board for the Enjoyers. They haven't won a single map yet. They really need to step it up if they want to have a chance to move through the lower bracket. Punisher jumping in, wants a piece of the action. Horrify, and bye-bye, he's gone.
And we say bye-bye. Bye-bye.
That's the end of the Haka. Riptire to clear the wave, but the keep will be destroyed. Only question that remains is, will the Stack of Doom be able to get more? And it seems likely, because that is the end of Junkrat. They counter-kill Jojo. not Darkmok's best game. Maybe Link can get killed too. And yes, he goes down as well. Sylvanas gets murdered. Now they aim for Diablo again, and he just doesn't stand a chance. So Diablo is down, and that is only Deck Arcane still in play. The old man can try and hit him with a stick a little bit, but I don't think this is going to cut it. The Haga comes back in 4, but the shield is already gone. The core gets attacked. This is not looking good. We have level 20 talents on the side of the blue team, and this is a victory. The Enjoyers are eliminated from the tournament, and the Stack of Doom moves on through the losers bracket at the playoffs of the Anniversary Cup. GG.